What's up, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Tug of More.
We're glad that you're here with us. We have been on a little hiatus through the holidays.
That's true.
And you know what? We might be on a hiatus next week.
We don't know. We're going to see.
Well, I think we're going to know unless
we might record one tomorrow.
Oh.
There's still time, bro. There's still time.
If you are not subscribed or don't have the little notification bell,
then you
if you're
don't know.
watching on YouTube, then you don't know. Hey, what's the Tug of More, Whitney?
The Tug of More is just a conversation between two friends. You, Trustin Babbitt, me, Whitney Barth, and we've been friends a long time. We talk about the fact that we are right here in life. Here's where we are, but here's where we want to be. There's a fight, a tension, a struggle to get there, and like the tension in between. That's the Tug of More. There's like a desire in all of us to be more, to achieve more, that God has more for us, but we are where we are right now, and there is this constant tug towards getting there. That's the Tug of More.
And if you feel that tug, that's what we talk about all the time. We talk about it in leadership context. We talk about it in life, in our faith, in our marriages.
Yep.
Not to each other,
no,
but
we're not married
to other beautiful people. We haven't showed a picture of Aaron and Rachel in a while.
Okay, ready?
Here's me and Rach.
Oh, they're separate ones. Okay, I didn't know I didn't know what we were doing. Here's me and Aaron.
Okay, and then here's together.
There you go. We did it.
And so yeah, we're talking about all kind of stuff today. Today, I think we're gonna follow up.
Yeah.
On the conversation we had from Sunday.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we do the Tug of More, if you don't attend More Church, is because we use it as a tool for our people that attend More Church every week to just continue conversations, or maybe to talk about other conversations that aren't Sunday morning church conversations, right? So yesterday you did a beautiful job talking about how the Bible is actually very clear to talk to us about the fact that our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit. Right. That our bodies are part of the vehicle of how we get around in life, of the more that God has for us. Yeah. And a lot of times in church, we talk about our spiritual health. We talk about even our emotional health. We talk about our spirit and our soul a lot, but we don't spend a lot of time talking about our body, except as it relates to sinful things. Yeah. And you instead said, let me flip the table a little bit. Let's talk about something that we need to talk about as humans, as Christ followers. Let's talk about our bodies and what it looks like to have a healthy body. Yeah.
And it was awkward. I said a bunch of words, and I saw people in the room while I was talking so mad that I was talking about it. So mad that I was talking about it. And I saw couples get into tension while I was talking. They started sitting right next to each other, but then as I talked, the wife would scoot farther away, or the husband would scoot farther away. There was this one couple, the lady started crying, and the husband just put his arm around her, and he's giving her, the tap on the shoulder, and she gives him a lead. Get off of me. I don't even want you to touch me right now.
She did?
Oh, yeah,
man.
She was mad.
Well, but it's because you were willing to talk about an uncomfortable subject, but you did what you always do, and that was the fact that you did not preach at anyone. You talked to everyone about your own journey. You were vulnerable, transparent, and really, really, you walked us through the journey you've been on in a beautiful and yet concise, digestible, and still funny and fun. Yeah. Even though uncomfortable.
No, thank you. That's a huge compliment. All that you just said. On the Tug of More, we've talked about our health a number of times over the years. We did What the Health. I don't remember all of them, but we talked about a couple different times this journey of us as real adults trying to still be healthy. When I was 20, I could eat an unlimited number of Whoppers. Yeah. Whoppers, Burger King, shout out, throwback. French fries, chocolate shake. I could sleep on a hard floor and I could wake up fully energized with a great midsection the next morning. But, some time goes by and Jackson 5, it becomes hard.
Well, we spend a ton of time talking about our emotional health, like here on the Tug of More and in our ministry. That's something we care a ton about. But the physical health journey is something we've been on for the last at least 3 years. I mean, for a long time. Yeah, but intentionally, but intentionally in the last 3 years. And I don't know if it's gotten as much conversation as the emotional health has. And so what I loved was that you were willing to open it up, unpack it as detailed as you did. And what I also loved was you were like, it's not a focus on weight, it's a focus on health. Yeah. And it helped, I think, even the awkwardness in the room, which I think it was not as much, it's much harder to negate the awkwardness you feel standing on the stage than it was in the room. In the room, they were with you. Everyone was excited and ready to hear it. And truthfully, even the people who felt super convicted by it, they were like, he's right. I needed to hear this. And so it was really good.
I've had so many people reach out after Sunday to me, sending me like their trash can full of junk food, sending me pictures of themselves at the grocery store buying healthy food. I had a couple send me a picture that they went right after church and bought Apple Watches. So Apple,
you're welcome.
Sponsor more church. And about they're going to track their steps together, and they're not going to be competitive with one another.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're just going to be in it together.
Yeah.
I mean, dozens of people have reached out, and I think that it's just it's something that you feel.
Right.
But sometimes you need a rattling. Something you said to me. I was going to tell you this the other day, but we got interrupted.
Oh.
Something you said to me a while ago. You said, Trustin, most people aren't researchers.
Right.
But I am. I don't know why.
You are one of the most researcher people I know.
Yeah, I just want to hear about it and listen to it. And so I always have an earbud in, listening or growing.
Learning,
but trying to understand it.
Yeah.
And so all I did in my message Sunday was rip other words that people have said that have inspired me.
Yeah.
None of that. I'm not a scientist. I don't know jack. This is just trial and error for myself and stuff that I've heard and amassed from other smarter people that I've been researching. And when you said that to me, it helped me put the message together, because I was like, okay, all I'm trying to do is get this content that it's taken me all these hours to get in me.
Right.
In one.
Yes. And you did. And it's funny you said how many people you've like heard from, seen from, whatever. As church leaders, we try really hard to engage our audience, engage our people, engage our congregation, whatever is the right phrase there. And our team this morning, when I got here, they were talking about how for years we've tried all kinds of things. Hey, share, like, subscribe. Hey, share out the post. Hey, share about this event coming up. Put it on your Facebook. Invite your friends to Easter. Like all the different things we've done. And they said, you know what? We have never had as much traffic in our social media, in our tagging, in our picture posting as we did yesterday. People posting their picture of their food, their meal, their walk, the title of our series that we're talking about is Treat Yourself.
Treat Yourself.
So the people saying how they're treating themselves, what they're doing, that has been the most engaging. And what I think is so interesting about that is often we think these like really personal things we're the only ones that are struggling with. But you hear the phrase all the time, the most personal things are the most universal things. But sometimes you don't really see that until a moment like this, where it felt I know it felt super personal for you. It was your literal personal journey. Like we're going to talk about in a second. Like you put pictures up of yourself from those seasons from a file you have on your phone called Fat Trustin.
Fat Trustin.
And yet
it's a file. So literally, I hope to not add any more photos to it in my lifetime.
Cannot be a more personal thing that you talked about. And yet what you realize is it's the most universal. People are dealing with it, whether they look skinny on the outside, but they might not be healthy on the inside. We've all in our life looked in the mirror at some point and gone, golly, I could do so much more. I could be so much better. And so I just think for our tug team as leaders, they're all people that are like leading people or tugging into more. Don't be afraid of with the personal, like to put out your personal things, because the personal things are the things that are going to actually connect you to the people you're trying to lead, trying to inspire, whatever you're trying to do. Because yesterday you inspired people to take a next right step.
I hope so.
You did.
I hope so. You know, we have to realize that the body we're in today is going to be the body that we're in tomorrow.
Right.
And so on and so forth for the rest of our lives. And so it's like, what do I want 50-year-old Trustin to be walking around in? Not just in looks. Forget about looks.
Right.
How do I want to feel? How mobile do I want to be?
Right.
How much energy do I want to have?
We talked to somebody who said I want to get down on the floor with my grandkids and play with them. And then she said, and be able to get back up. Like you want, it's how do I want future self is what you kept saying, your future you. How do I want them to be treated today to be able to be the future them that we want to be?
It's hard because there's it feels a little bit like there's two options. There is be embarrassed, ashamed, and hide my body. Or be like arrogant and really outspoken and overshare my body. And so it's hard. I'm struggling a little bit right now. This morning I went to the gym and worked out, and I posted a video of me doing some pull-ups.
I saw it, but mostly because you did the song, the Alabama Shake song with it, which I appreciated.
I like that song. And so I show the video to Rachel, and I said, "Hey, is this okay? Is this like
allowed?
Is this allowed? Is this too inappropriate?" And I'm fully dressed and all the things.
Right.
But
what you're saying is, am I being a douche?
Am I being a douche? Because you know the people, That's what you were
saying.
Yeah. Am I being a guy who's just flexing on the internet?
Right.
And like, it's hard to know the difference, because I've been trying in 2024, I've been trying to do a better job at engaging on social media.
Right.
I historically don't post ever.
But always wish you did.
But always wish I did.
Or comment about it. And so it's like, well, then do it.
So I'm trying to chronicle my life. So what I need to do at some point is take a picture that we're here filming the podcast. And so I have been taking these pictures. Yeah, ready to go. So I've been taking pictures of myself at the gym, but like of a dumbbell on the floor or a treadmill or something, but never any of me. And I was like, I want to use my story to help inspire. And I've already had multiple pastors that have DM'd me and reached out, or have started posting that they're at the gym saying, because Trustin did.
Yeah.
And then they're sharing. And so, it's a balance.
It's a balance. It's hard to find, but
if you see me out there like wearing a wife beater with gold chains and big diamond earring flexing, well, then something has went too far.
Just smack him.
Something has went awry in my life, and I apologize for it.
I think the fact that you're asking the question is how you know that you're still okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it a little bit more, just because I think if you didn't go back and watch it, we'll link the message. Here's the message. We haven't done that yet, right?
No.
So here's the message from Sunday. If you haven't gone and watched it, you should go watch it. I'm telling you, I don't care who you are or where you are in your journey, in your health, it will be inspiring to you, to help you know that you can do it, that there is more, that it's not a quick fix, that it's not like a magic whatever, but it's an intentionality and a discipline to say, hey, I do want more for my future self, so I'm going to treat myself enough to take care of myself.
You can feel better.
You can feel better.
You just got to start taking care of yourself. I touched on a couple touchy things.
Okay, let's talk about the touchy things.
Okay. I talked about going to the doctor. And I said, go to the doctor. Go see a doctor. Go get some blood work done. And I think that sometimes in Christian circles that we can be so hyper-spiritual that we aren't really living in reality.
Right. So what you mean is that often believers, Christian people, can be like, well, God will heal me.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to go talk to the doctor, because the doctor's not the medicine. God is our great physician.
Right, but you go to the grocery store and buy food and don't expect God to multiply your fish and loaves.
Right.
So I'm like, there's a point where it's like, okay, can God multiply fish and loaves and feed 5,000? Yes. But should you also just go and buy dinner? Yes.
Right.
And so I think that your health is kind of a comparable thing, that like there's a responsibility that we have to take care of ourselves. And so I talked about getting blood work done, and I said a bunch of words. I talked about hormone levels, and I talked about my testosterone level and how it dumped in the tank, and how I've intentionally worked to get it back up naturally. And I had a bunch of guys come up to me after service and say, thank you for even bringing that up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to even start that conversation and to navigate it. And honestly, neither do I. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, nor am I the most studied theologian, but I think that we're currently living so far outside of what God intended for us to live
in. Eden, is that what you mean?
We're living so far outside of Eden that man, unless you're going to move to a to a jungle somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And throw your shoes away and not touch any fabrics for the rest of your life and eat jungle roots. I don't know.
No, right.
Then we're just so far away from natural that I think we have to bring into the conversation, what can I do to make myself healthy?
Yeah.
I had a guy pull me aside after service, and he said, Pastor, I've had a surgery to deal with my weight loss, a surgery to deal with it. And he's really upset about it because he says, and I feel like I kind of copped out. I feel like I didn't do God's best plan. I did this step. My doctor suggested this step. I tried everything to get my kind of weight back in order. And I've been beating myself up for about 3 months after the surgery. I've lost 80 pounds, he said, but I've been beating myself up because I just don't know if that's wrong spiritually.
Wow. Huh.
And I don't have like the perfect answer for that.
No, it's good.
But I'm like,
we talked about it a bunch.
Listen, if you are substantially overweight or have a major physical health issue that you have tried your darndest to fix on your own, and you can't. I know this guy. He's a hard worker. He's smart. He's educated.
Right.
And if you find yourself in a position that you can't dig yourself out of that hole, then sometimes I think medical intervention is the best next step.
Right.
Now, I told him, I said, now, bro, if you come back and you start getting bicep implants and synthol injections and, get yourself a Brazilian booty lift, then there's a point that's like, okay,
are you imbalanced?
This is now vanity.
Yeah.
But when we're not talking about vanity, we're talking genuinely about like life and death.
Right. I was going to say, you and I have talked about this a bunch. Like on the journey that you've been on, the one I've been on, we talked about it at length because, there's so much controversy and could be so many questions. But in the same way that if your finger got cut off, you would run to the emergency room and ask them to put it back on. Yeah. There are for sure times and spaces that like our health, if it is out of balance and unhealthy, then if there is an opportunity for intervention that will actually help save us.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We don't need to get so, really don't believe that Jesus is up there judging the action of those type of things, but rather what you said, the intentionality of our heart. And if our heart is to be healthy so that we can be there for our children and our grandchildren, all the things like, again, in balance, but it's a big deal. Like you and I, let's talk about this.
Because all that stuff can be abused too.
100%.
And so I think that there's a question of, is this thing going to step into abuse?
Right. Or is it just helping me?
Or I had a guy come up to me yesterday who I'm friends with. I see him at the gym. The dude's yoked up. And he said, Pastor, your conversation was actually really good for me to hear on the other side. He said, because I'm so obsessed with my health that it's stealing from the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's talking about how he's not playing with his kids and how he's not around his wife because he's so obsessed with his health.
Right.
And so it's balanced everywhere because this guy has the body we all wish we had.
Right. But at what cost?
Right. And so I think it's something that we just have to always have in review.
Right. No, absolutely. So I was going to say, you and I both, so you said blood work. Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
Blood work, we both went to the doctor. Let's talk about, you and I both went to different doctors multiple times before we found the right fit. Yeah. Like that's, I think, a big reason why people don't go is because it is hard. It does require research.
There's a bunch of scam artists.
Intimidation of, am I going to show up at this place and are they going to be rude or demean me or embarrass me? And so I went one place, didn't feel right about it, went to another place, found the right fit. You went multiple times, different tries to figure out the right next step.
Yeah, I went to a guy who is just like a health and longevity guy and met with him and did some blood work with him. And this guy was going to have me take so many vitamins. It would have cost me $1,500 a month.
Crazy.
To buy everything that he was telling me that I needed. And I didn't have peace about it.
Right.
I was like, bro, this is too much.
Right.
Like right now, I am taking every day probably 12 different supplements, 12 different vitamins.
Okay.
But this guy was like so many things, and it was so complicated, and it was so much. And so I was like, okay, well, that's not good. And so you know what? I paid about $300 for all my blood work. It's in the trash.
Yeah.
Is what I thought. But you know what it is in the trash? It's my history. It's a track record. So then I went to another guy that a friend told me about, and I didn't have peace before I went, but I went anyways. Because the guy who told me, I know, takes steroids.
Right.
And so I go to his doctor, and you know what his doctor did? Prescribed me all kind of stuff before I even had any blood work done.
Right.
And it's the kind of dude whose biceps are popping out. He's got a big red vein sticking out on his forehead. And so I was like, well, I don't know. And so I took Rachel with me. I went back to a second time to meet with this guy, and Rachel said, babe, I don't really feel peace. Will you come in? And she was like, I don't feel peace. And I'm glad I didn't go that direction because that's the kind of thing you can't really reel back from all the way.
Right.
And then I finally found a doctor who works with my primary care physician, my actual like daily doctor. So a men's health guy and my doctor that have working together. So now when I get blood work done, they both review it.
Right.
And before I do anything, they're both signing off. So I have a team that's not just selling me something, but is looking for my best benefit.
And gave you real, what is the right word? Real expectations for a balanced life. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but like you and I, how many years ago? 3 years ago? Did the bar thing together. The like pyramid scheme, eat the bars, do the shakes. Remember? I don't remember how long.
Are we allowed to say the name? Or
no, we're not going to say the name. We're not going to say the name because we don't need to be punks. But we tried it because we were both at a space of like.
If you pull the tail off the queue.
No, what?
What? Pull the tail off the queue.
No, stop.
What?
I don't. We tried different things. You said it in
COVID. Sounds like an X-Man name.
In COVID.
Bootleg X-Man.
Ridiculous.
What?
Stop.
Okay.
In COVID is when, like, you talked about it yesterday, like you had kind of this moment. That's when I was like, I am tapped out. I look okay on the outside, but I feel horrible on the inside.
Yeah.
What is your face?
No, well, I started, you said my fat pictures. And then I thought of that video that you shot at Aristide in your red sweater.
Yeah.
And like, that was worst Whitney.
Yes. Worst case scenario. Looked at myself. I told my husband, we were talking about it the other day, and I just said, like, I realized at a certain point, this is how I do look. I can stand at any angle I want to try to make it better. But this is actually what I look like. And I either have to decide that I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Which is like a real thing. You have to decide you're okay with it. Or do something to freak about it.
Not
One
just
or the
how
other.
you look. How you feel.
But really and truly what got me to take the step, because I'm not good at, once I'm in a routine, I'm good, but I'm not good at starting a routine. And so finding a new doctor, going in a new, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to start, how to do it.
Yeah.
But it was really the way I felt that got me like, I have to do something or I'm just going to be a bum. Like,
yeah, I take that on as my fault that you gained weight.
I know you do. I was going to say.
It might not all the way, but I think that the people you're around.
Yeah.
Negatively or positively influence.
We talked about it in one of our other.
There's no coincidence me and you gained weight at the same time.
Well, yeah, correct.
And then that we've both gotten healthier at the same time. And we don't like work out together. We just are friends. And if we
work together and we spend a lot of time
together. But if I
go
to lunch and Whit orders a salad,
right.
It helps me not order a burger and french fries.
But I was going to say, we talked about it. I can't remember what the episode was, just not long ago. But like how you can, when you're in relationship with people, you can drive yourselves into ditches together, or you can pull yourselves out of ditches together. And that's just genuinely, like, we went through a hard season in the last 7 years of our life. But really the last 3 or 4 years ago was a really like heavy season for us. And that, it was like we would go to lunch to have a meeting and be like, you want some queso? Let's get some queso. You want a cookie at the end of the meal? Let's get a cookie.
So we tried the bars.
So we tried the bars.
How long do you think we both did that?
I did it a little bit longer than you, but 3 months.
2 months.
I don't think you didn't go beyond.
Oh no, you know what? I did it for a while, but then I switched over to the keto.
Oh yeah.
What were those things? You put them in and they get you into ketosis.
The ketones, or whatever.
Yeah, and so I got into that pyramid scheme. Yeah. And you know what happened? Nothing.
Yeah, and
it didn't work because it's not sustainable. Right. You can't eat chemical bars and a handful of salad for the longevity of your life.
Correct. So what I
remember mixing them things up, and there was one that was like macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And it was chemicals.
It was all chemicals.
I should have eaten dish detergent.
And so it didn't taste good. That's what I remember is you called me one day and you were like, this tastes terrible. Are we really going to keep doing this? And I was like, I'm such a like stubborn head that like once I bought it, I was like, I'm going to finish the box. Like I convinced my husband this is a good idea for me to spend $500 on this box. I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
And so I did, but golly, it tasted terrible. I was cranky. What you said, I lost probably 10 pounds in that 3-month period. And then the minute I stopped doing it, I probably gained 15.
Because here's what happens. You lost body weight, but you did not lose body fat.
No.
You also lost a bunch of muscle.
Yeah.
And when you lose muscle, it causes a problem because that's the thing, that's the engine. The muscle is the thing that burns the calories.
Yeah.
This is why bodybuilders that are carrying 300 pounds of muscle, that they can go on these bulks and gain 50 pounds of fat, but then lose it in 12 weeks because they have so much muscle.
Right.
They get bad gas mileage.
Right.
The more muscle you have, the worse gas mileage you get, which is a good thing if you want to be able to eat a lot.
Right. When you're in that regard. Yeah. So we tried the shakes and the bars and the things, and it just just wasn't correct.
Yeah.
I've known you a long time. Like you said it yesterday. You've done the paleo. You've done the keto.
Remember when I did keto? And I came over
yeah.
So I'm doing keto.
This is the first time you ever did it, because you've done it a few times.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
I tried keto, and this is high fat, no carb, no sugar, low protein.
You live at a baseline level of stability. Like,
I don't know if that's a compliment or a slam.
No, it's not. It's just like, typically as a human, you're healthy. Like, you don't get headaches.
Oh yeah,
You're not like a guy who has
pretty stable.
You don't drink a lot of caffeine, so you don't have like hard crashes and caffeine, whatever. So when you do have a physiological change in yourself, you don't do that well.
Yeah,
when you get a cold, you don't do that well.
I get the man flu. I just admit it. If I have a headache, I want Tylenol right now.
Yes.
But it's because I only get 2 headaches a year.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like, I get a caffeine headache about once a week. That's just what it is.
I don't. I feel great, and when I don't,
my word.
My world's going to stop until I get this figured out. And so I'm over at Aaron and Winnie's house, and we're doing something, and I'm like day 3 into this ketogenic diet. And there's this thing that happens called the keto flu, where your body switches over from, I don't know, something to something. And I'm telling you, I shut off.
Completely. You sat in the chair, but I just remember, and you were just literally like, guys, I don't know what's going on. Like, no expression. Something's going on.
Something's happening. I
don't think I need to go to the hospital.
Should I go to the hospital?
Should I go to the hospital?
Aaron, you might have to drive me to the hospital. So...
You left your wife at our house and you went home.
Yeah.
You were like, Rachel, I'm just going to go home.
I'm go home. So I drive myself home, which probably wasn't very safe. And I go and I got in the bathtub. No, so I watched a YouTube video on the way home, how to get over the keto flu.
Because you do
your
research.
And it says you need to get an Epsom salt bath.
Yes.
And so Rachel had some. So I dumped some in the thing, and I'm sitting in the thing, and I drink a whole, them like cardboard box containers of chicken broth. Because it's high sodium. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I felt better, but I was like, this is not.
Yes.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, I have to stop. Do this. Give me a potato.
Yes. No, it's true. I'm thinking through all the, and so I went vegan for a year. Remember that?
Yeah, that was influenced by your sister.
It was influenced, well, by her and by the,
Is she still vegan?
No, she's not either.
You see, you bunch of suckers.
Because I felt so horrible, and I was like, maybe if I just like pull all these things out of my diet, then out. But again, chemicals. I'm not saying it's not right for some people. For some people, it's right. But for me, the chemicalness, I was not able to healthily, naturally, like natural foods, up my protein intake. And so because of that, I was just eating chemicals to get protein.
Yeah.
And eventually, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to live like this anymore. But what it did do for me was help regulate some of the things that were out of whack for me. Like, I was eating way too much dairy because cheese is freaking good.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just need a reset. You just need a hard shaking.
Right.
Thank God you're not a vegan anymore.
Yeah, that was hard.
It was genuinely hard to be your friend. I'm a meat eater.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
remember
we had Thanksgiving together.
Oh, that's
our
true.
families, my family, your family, and like your sister, your mom, everybody came, and they bring some tofu turkey. And dude, I was about to renounce.
I brought
my
other
friendship.
things, but also brought
that was trash.
Vegan things, not good. But hey,
so I ate the only food I brought for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but the what you're saying is true. For me, it was a reset in that season that helped kickstart for me. Okay, I don't need to go this extreme, but I need to find the balance in my life of what's going to actually fuel me and actually help me get on a healthy path. And I think we all have these marked moments in our life where we realize, oh shoot, if I can either do something right now, or I'm going this other trajectory for forever. Like for real, you talked about it. There's a video, we can find it, I'm sure, and post a picture of it. But like, I filmed this video for the church, and like that's part of the struggle for you and I is that there's cameras in our faces all the time. And so I remember looking at it and just being like, dang, if I don't change, I say all the time that your insides start to look, you start to see your insides on your outsides.
Oh, dude, Whitney says this, and it's changed my view about myself.
Yeah.
She'll say, well, it's about, really, we use it for one person.
It's about all kind of people's.
But it's where it came from, somebody who really hurt us.
And I'm like, but their insides are showing on their outside.
Their insides are showing.
And a lot of times your insides start to show on your outside. But in this case, I was like, oh yeah, how I do feel in the morning waking up, sluggish. Like I have to like pull myself up every morning. Oh, dang, that is now how I look on the outside.
Yeah.
And
I'm only 38.
Yes, I wasn't even 40 yet. What was I going to do?
I still have to like be alive for another 40 years.
For like a long time. And so it was like, I got to do something to fix it. Yeah. Go. What?
We talked about a lot. And so, I don't know, you want to talk through any of the major bullet points? We talked about sleep and oxygen.
Yeah.
And so how if you're not getting enough air in.
It's really good.
I could have went on all kinds of tangents. You know what can't survive in oxygen? One of the things that kills cancer the best is oxygen.
Huh.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that we have all of these ailments and inflammations in our body is because we are just not oxygenated enough. And so taking some big, deep breaths, making sure that your lungs are able to open all the way. You know, cardio is not just for weight loss.
Right.
Cardio is for all of the regulatory systems.
Right.
So when I'm running sprints or when I'm doing some of the gym and I'm laying on the ground after 20 minutes, fighting for air, what's happening is all of the little capillaries in my lungs are opening.
Yeah.
And they're getting filled with air. And it helps me stay oxygenated.
Right.
Which helps defeat inflammation.
Yeah.
But if all you ever do is walk from your bed to your car to your desk to your couch to your bed, your lungs are only at like 30% capacity.
Right.
And if you're only doing for your whole life, then when you really need to take a deep breath, you can't and you die.
Yeah. And you die. But no.
Yeah.
No, it's real. I think for me, that's been, for my journey, that's been the last piece that I wasn't doing for a long time. So I didn't start putting cardio back in my life until just about, well, really exercise period, back in my life until about 4 months ago, because I was doing good and I was regulating what I was eating and I was in a good rhythm. I was sleeping well. I was getting enough oxygen, I was hydrating, all of it. But I realized like, oh, I am missing a piece. Like you were saying, the guy that spends his whole life at the gym, like we know that like, and what I had convinced myself was, well, 80% of my weight and health has to do with what I'm putting in. So I don't need to do this other piece. But it's a big deal that we have to be, if we want to be healthy, we've got to be well-rounded in what we're doing. And that's what I liked about the conversation, is that you put in each step to help us see. It's not just what you eat. It's also how you sleep. It's also how you hydrate. It's also how you exercise. It's all, you said motion equals lotion, but it's true. Yeah. Like, we all have different, you love to work out. I love to
lift weights.
Lift weights. I was going to say, you love to lift weights.
But I don't want to be on the stepper.
Right. So I was going to say, even in your seasons of unhealth, you would still go lift weights because that's what you loved. For me, moving at all was kind of like, meh, I move my mind all day long. I'm tired at night. Like, I know it sounds lame, and so what I would say is like, I was super skinny fat. Like I still was healthy enough, but I wasn't healthy because it's not about the weight on the scale. It was about, I got to move my body. I got to really allow myself to, get stronger, all the things. And I think we just have to look at it holistically. Are you drinking enough water? Like that's a huge one for Americans. The water and then vitamin D. I'm like, you and I both could get on a soapbox
talk about it
for 100 years about vitamin D.
Vitamin D is a precursor to all other hormones. And so we do not get enough sunlight. Right. Most people, when's the last time you were outside without your clothes on for 15 minutes?
Right. Except on a vacation.
I mean, very rarely are we just out. Maybe our arms are in the sun, and so we're just not in the sun. And so taking vitamin D plus K2. Yes. K2 is another vitamin that helps it adhere. And if you're not getting that in, then your body can't produce you might have a thyroid problem just because you're missing vitamin D.
100%.
And so my doctor at the beginning, I was so deficient that he gave me a prescription to vitamin D K2. And I was taking like 50,000 IUs every 3 days or something. Now I just take regular vitamin D. I buy it off Amazon.
Right.
It's just two little yellow deals. I take them every morning. But he had to bombard my body and teach it what to do with this.
It's crazy.
Vitamin.
Yeah, but it's connected to so many things. I mean, for me,
or like liver. I'm not eating enough organ meats. There's vitamin D in organ meats.
Right.
It's like, am I going to start being the liver king? Do you know who the liver king is?
No.
Oh, it's like a dude on the internet who's like big, yoked up. He sells desecrated organs, and he did this whole thing about how he wasn't on steroids, but then his doctor leaked that, like, no, he is on steroids. He's lying to all of America, but selling us products.
Oh.
But anyways, yeah, I'm not going to eat desecrated organs, so I have to take a supplement.
No, correct. And like for me, until I started taking vitamin D, I could not lose weight. Right. And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm cutting my calories, all these things. But it's a real, especially in women too, like our bodies will hold on to weight when we are not getting the proper hormones and things that we need. And so vitamin D, if you're like 80% of America is vitamin D deficient. Yeah. And the darker your skin is, then the harder it is. And so like, you just got to know some of this stuff to really help you take those next right steps. Yeah. Because if you're buying for, you said it and it's funny, but it's convicting, because how many of us scroll on the internet and then click a button for $29.99 supplements or something that we're just going to take? But no, you got to know yourself and then know your own habits and then evaluate. I think that's the part that really I've seen over the last several years is the willingness to beat up some of the old habits. Yeah. For you, like the old habits you had that you thought were the way you were going to lose weight, and be willing to try something totally different. Right. The same was for me, was like, no, I've always done it like this. Well, what if I didn't? Because that clearly isn't working anymore. Yeah. And like, we have to be willing to say, hey, I'm going to try something totally different and just see if maybe I try again, if it will work, you know?
Right. I mean, should we talk about other stuff or no?
Yeah, we can.
So I take boron. I take magnesium at night. I take CLA. What else? This will change your life. If you're having digestion issues, buy some Ziapan.
Oh, come on.
So here's what Tums does. Tums fights back the acidity in our stomach. Mm-hmm. But do you know most of our problem is we don't have enough acidity in our stomach. Right. And so Ziapan is a digestion aid that if you know you're eating a big meal, like we're about to go on a vacation, I'm gonna take some Ziapan with me.
I got the big bottle ready.
And if I eat a big steak or I eat a high protein meal, I'll take Ziapan, and it's not a medication. Right. It's just a natural, it supports your stomach acid. Yeah. And it helps you digest this food properly. I'll take garlic, which Rachel hates.
It's super game changer though. Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a few of these little simple things that throughout the day, there's different supplements that you can take to help your thyroid. Mm-hmm. Rachel's on a whole other different group, but I mean, I said 12 and maybe it's not even 12, but that's about it. I bought some good protein powders that I like, that tastes good. There's protein powder that they sell like at Sam's and Walmart, and a bunch of that stuff has been so filtered down that it's not actually that great for you. So do your research. Right. I buy some stuff, Alpha Lion, and I know it's like the douchiest name ever, but it's cold pressed and it's great. Yeah. Hydration is vital, and your body needs something to bind the water to. Yeah. And so just having some minerals that you put into your water goes a long way. So I buy Element, LMNT. It's like a salt additive. And then I put double the water in per packet because it's real salty tasting. Yeah. And it helps your body hold the water that you're taking in.
No, it's so good, because as you're talking, I'm like, it's hard.
It's hard. I'm saying I've done a lot of research on myself.
You're not telling people, hey, you need to take
No, you do not need to do this.
You need to take that. You need to take that. What we're saying is, there's a whole lot of work that goes into actually being healthy. Yeah. And we talk about it as it relates to our emotional health and our spiritual health all the time, but it's worth understanding that if we want our physical bodies to be healthy, then we have to be willing to say, okay, is it worth the tug, the tension, the fight to get into that more? And I think a lot of times we've settled that it's not. Yeah. No, it's not worth it right now. Well, no, this season's not worth it. But then when you look at what you lose, the energy, the vitality, the years off your life. I mean, we know people who've literally lost their life from not taking care of their health. And I'm like, it's worth the extra effort. Anything worth having is worth struggling and fighting for. So, go ahead.
So talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who knows a little bit more than you do and find out what your next right step needs to be. And if that is I'm talking about supplements, but if there's a medicine that you need to take, when I was real low testosterone and I was in the process of trying to get that up, I took a medication for 90 days to help my body reset and turn back on, and it got all my numbers back to where they need to be. So I'm not having to inject testosterone exogenously, but that I was just able to reset my body. And so there's a lot that you can do to help yourself be healthier in the long term.
Something you said yesterday that was my favorite thing that I wish we would all say to each other all the time is you were talking about sleep, and you're talking about getting enough oxygen and like getting, sleep tests done and all these things. And you were like, but it can be embarrassing. And we get embarrassed about it.
Right.
But why do we get embarrassed talking about this thing that actually sustains our life? Like, why do we get and I wish that we could take away the stigma, which is why we're just so openly talking about it right now, is take away the stigma of it being embarrassing. And like, often for me, for years, going to the gym was embarrassing because I didn't know what I was doing, and are they going to judge me, and what do they think, and I can't run as fast as them, and I'm not as strong as this person, and I'll lose my breath or whatever. Stop being embarrassed. Just try. Let's take the stigma away of being ashamed, and instead going, hey, good for me that I'm going to take the step. And I might stumble through it, but I'm willing to stumble through all kinds of things in life. I might as well be able to stumble through this. And so I just loved the why are we embarrassed? Let's stop being embarrassed. It's not embarrassing. Let's talk about it. And so if you're embarrassed to talk to somebody, just go talk to them anyway. Do it anyway.
I had an old man come up to me. I was at the gym when I was young. I was in college, and I was curling I don't even know how much, 60s, like some horrible form. I'm yanking the weights all around. And this old black guy comes up to me, and he just walks up and he says, hey, you either look good in the gym or you look good out of the gym. Pick up some lighter weights. And he just walked away. And I was like, he's right. Right now, I look good, air quotes, because I'm moving these heavy weights. But with horrible form, I'm not actually working my muscle at all. I'm just in here looking like an idiot. And so I went and picked up some 25s.
Right.
And I was sore the next day.
Yeah.
And so I think I remember that all the time.
Yeah.
That you either, who cares what you look like while you're doing the workout?
Right.
You're doing the workout so that you'll be better after the workout.
Right.
And so, yes, you're going to get sweaty. Hopefully. Yes, your makeup is not going to look like it did. No, you don't have to get a full head of hair going before you go to the gym. Yeah, man, your stomach might show if you try to do pull-ups. Okay. Yeah, you might only, if I get on the treadmill next to Aaron, Winnie's husband, I'm done. I cannot run as long. I cannot run as fast. I'm like a rhino on the treadmill. I'm not graceful. I can't do it. But that doesn't mean that I should be embarrassed.
Correct. Who cares what the doctor thinks when you say the question?
Right.
Who cares that you walked in? There's other people in the waiting room too. Like, we get so nervous and insecure to show up. I gave blood not long ago and was like very insecure about, because I get scared of the needle, and I'm like nervous and talking, and I'm like, I'm probably talking to you too much. And she's like, honey, you wouldn't believe the things we see. And if we would all just realize
somebody's way worse.
We don't know the things they see. And we're probably most likely not the worst thing they've seen today. But even if we are, oh well, who cares? It's their job. It's what they love. It's their passion. And you and I talk about all the time, we love helping people in the trade that we're in the job that we're in the role that we're in. We love helping them be better. I'm like, in those roles, that's what they love. That's their trade. They love helping people. So just go with the mindset that hey, I'm probably not the craziest thing they're going to see today.
Correct.
And they're there, and their whole reason to be there is to help me.
Yeah. I had a line in my notes that I took out from Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Comfort confines.
Right. It does.
And
it's true.
What happens is we get so comfortable.
Yep.
And we are so desiring to be comfortable that we get confined into this little space.
Yeah.
And so life, believe it or not, isn't about comfort. Mm-hmm. We think that comfort is king. We think that comfort is our number one priority. Now, if you're buying a couch, get one that's comfortable.
Right.
But like, our diet should not always be comfortable. Our exercise shouldn't always be comfortable. We get so mad that we don't get a parking spot when it's beautiful weather out right by the store.
Right.
Park out in the lot, man. Like, comfort will confine you. You know the reason that all the women at the gym go to yoga and all the men lift weights? Because we're more comfortable.
Right.
Women are naturally more flexible.
Right.
Men are naturally stronger. So we gravitate to our comfort places. Aaron ran track in high school.
Right.
So he navigates to the treadmill.
Right.
I've been a power lifter for a long time. So I navigate to the dumbbells.
Right.
We move to our comfort. But do you know what I should be doing?
Right.
Yoga.
Right.
And so my goals that I've set for myself this year are not about strength, but about flexibility.
Yeah.
I almost set some strength goals. I talked to Kyle about it, where I was like, dude, I want to bench 315. I want to get back to it. I want to join the 1,000-pound club. 1,000 pounds is where your squat, deadlift, and bench are all, you add them together and it's over 1,000 pounds. And I was about to do it, and I was about to shift it, and I was about to, it's Tiffany Carrillo's fault. She said, Pastor, shout out Tiff. She said, my bad. Oh yeah, double my bad. Sorry. And so she said, you've been leaning down, now it's time to bulk and hulk. And I was like, oh yeah, it's time to bulk and hulk. No, it's not. I got to get flexible.
Yeah.
What do I need? What do I need to bench more? What do I need to squat all this weight for?
Just decent.
No, I'm saying what I would rather do is be able to be flexible.
Yeah.
Now, on the contrast, you ladies.
I know.
Why? Why do women, Brady said to me the other day, I don't want to get all bulky.
Yeah.
Do you know how many steroids these women bodybuilders take to look like that?
Do you want to know what happens to us?
What? I want to know so I can tell you how crazy it is.
So I'll tell you what happened to me as a person. What happens, you do gain the muscle for 5 seconds more before you lose. Like, let me say it like this. I took spin class when spin classes first came out. Oh, I started taking spin class like a champ. I was so excited.
So your legs got a little bigger.
So my legs got a little bigger, which then inevitably made my jeans got a little tighter for a minute. If I would have just waited and done it for like 3 more weeks, my jeans would have fit better in the long run.
Right.
But because they got tight for a minute, I was like, no, I'm about to. I know we didn't know better then. Like,
but they get a little bit tighter just because your body. Those muscles are engorged with blood and with oxygen.
Right.
And so because they're
swelling,
just, that's the pump. But that doesn't mean that
I want to pump you up.
It's the pump.
I was waiting for it.
So the pump comes, but that doesn't mean that you've actually got that much bigger of muscles.
Correct. But when you already are a girl who has the insecurity, so like one time I had expressed, the girl really did tell me, your thighs are disproportionately large for the size of your waist. That's already an insecurity. So then you go work out, then your legs swell. You're like, oh, I'm doing the opposite of what I want to do. Screw this. I'm never doing it again.
So I'm never going to lift weights. I'm going to stop eating and I'm going to lose my muscle. Yeah. And then I'm going to be an old lady who's decrepit and falls down and breaks 8 bones.
That's the other part of it, I think, is because for so long, before the internet, like when we were younger, there wasn't all of the research and all of the details to know as much information as we know now. And so, we all just were idiots and did the same right thing. But you're right. Now I know, and so, that is my current thing is the like, I have to increase my weights that I'm using in certain exercise I'm doing. They need to increase every month a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but they got to increase. And that was a weird goal for me to set because before it was I need to be able to run 4 miles in this amount of time rather than 3 miles in that amount of time, whatever. And so learning that like
it should be hard.
These are good things, right?
It should be heavy.
It should be
Go
hard.
to the gym and push. Don't laugh.
Yeah.
Push it and don't start laughing because you're embarrassed. Just
do it.
Listen, I'm there rolling around on this black foam thing. And I look like an idiot. I look like a beached seal. I used to be a beached whale. Now I'm just a beached seal.
Hey, that's good.
Over there trying to stretch out. I look like an idiot. But you know what? I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel so much better after stretching.
Yeah. No, it's really good. That's a great start to our conversation. We've already talked 50 minutes.
Are we done?
Well, I don't know. We can keep talking, but I'm like, there's so much to it is the point of it. Is that I think that conversation you had, we said it to each other after second service, like it's just a moment that we can point to, like a jumping off point, a foundation for a bigger and a longer and a years long conversation of constant, continual striving for health. And so I'm super proud of you. I already told you a bunch, but it was really great. And there's more to talk about.
There's moss.
There's moss.
Guys, here's what would be great on this topic. If you have any questions, hit us. Maybe we know the answers. Maybe we don't. Maybe we actually are doctors and health professionals and just not telling y'all.
I wish.
If
we were, then let's go do that.
But like, what are you? Why? What's been stopping you?
Yeah, I think that's
what's
the
been
great
holding
question.
you back.
Yeah.
What have your experiences been? We really want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So that we can help everybody, because chances are there's other people that are there.
No, I think because we're not selling anything, we're not professionals, we're not doctors, we're just regular people. Then let's have a real conversation about it and help each other, because for real, what we said before, you and I like helped each other gain some weight, but then we've helped each other lose some weight, and being encouraging and accountable to each other, and just like saying like, hey, let's try again. And I think that's the hope for this Tug team, is that we can just keep trying again together.
Guys, you got it. Set some goals, get to work, go for a walk, take some vitamin D.
Take the vitamin D. It'll change your life.
Jesus loves you.
Love y'all.
All right, bye.